And welcome back. Well, my next guest is, of course, a son of the United States, and he was here to promote his one-man play, which I had the honor of attending last Saturday at the Spice Basket. Now, when many of us, I mean, at 18 years old, you know, a lot of us were probably thinking about graduating from high school, that sort of thing, what color we're going to put in our hair, you know, who we're going to take on our first date kind of thing at that stage in our lives. But for Carl Rea, he was going through quite a trialing time in his life when he witnessed the death, the murder of his father, as a matter of fact. At 18 years old. Carl is here with me this morning to chat about his experience back in 1962 when his father was murdered in front of his very eyes, and what he has learned from his journey to the final, well, I should say the moment when he decided to forgive the man who killed his father. And I'm very honored to have him in studio with me this morning. Viewers, good morning to you, sir, Mr. Carl Rea.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. Good to have you here, sir. Before we get into your journey, sir, first off, welcome to Grenada.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hope you're enjoying it.
Having a great time.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Mr. Rea, I had the opportunity to experience your performance last weekend, and it was very riveting, very touching. And I'm sure lots of folks left there feeling a sense of change or hoping to change the way they view things and the way they view life on a whole. If I can, I just want to go back to 1962.
Okay.
Yeah, if I can. I mean, we don't have much time on the program, but we're going to try to put everything in this little bracket that I'm working with this morning in order to let people understand fully where you came from and where you are right now as a human being based on your experience. Take us to that time. I know one of my cameramen is very intrigued. He wants to find out exactly what happened in 1962, if you can really explain that to us.
Okay, kind of explain it to you. You have to set the stage of what Southern America was like during segregation, when there were separation of the races, and we were like second-class citizens. During that time, whites were in control of everything. I said yes and no to a white man. Now, in those days, it was considered disrespectful for a black person to say yes and no to a white person. He beat me up, almost killed me. About an hour later, still upset, he came to my home and told my father I would have to leave because I did not know how to talk to white people. And I was going to go away to college the next day. At that moment, he reached in his pocket, and last words my father said, he's going away, he's going to college. And he pulled out the gun and struck him, and I hit him, and he shot him 8 times and killed him instantly.
During your performance, you expressed your disgust, you expressed your disappointment. There was a lot of hate in you, you know, and I think everyone can say, we can understand why, you know, why you had that hate in you. But then you reveal that you forgave this man who killed your father in front of your very eyes. I'd love for you to share the story with our viewers of that moment, that epiphany, if I can call it that. The moment you decided you was going to forgive. What's his name again? Bill.
Bill Carlisle.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way I forgave Bill, it was quite accidental. I was driving taxi, and I met a stranger in a taxi who talked to me about forgiveness. And when I mentioned to him what had happened, he said if I wanted to be free, just forgive the man who killed my father and get on with my life. I became very upset because I figured you don't have the right to tell me that. And I told him, you don't forgive people for doing things like that. And during the discussion, I became very upset with him. And at one point, I was so angry, and he knew it, and he said, I will make a deal with you. You don't have to mean it. If you just let me hear you say you forgive the man, I will leave you alone. And I had no intention of forgiving. I was angry. I wanted him to leave me alone. And I said the words, and when I said the words, it was like everything instantly went away. The most spiritual moment I ever had, there was no anger, no hatred, it was gone. That's it in a nutshell.
I know a lot of people might say, oh, come on, you're telling me it was that easy. You know, was it that easy to just say the words, utter the words, and then it was all gone? Was it really that easy for you, or you did feel a sense of relief, but it took some time? It took you probably weeks where you probably asked yourself, do I really forgive him?
Well, when it was, I was at this place, it was so great, I did not believe, because this is the best high I had ever had, this release. So I expected in 4 or 5 months that was going to go away and I was going to be angry again. And a week passed, a month passed, 6 months passed, and I could feel no hatred towards him. That didn't bother me. If I thought about it, it was just an incident that had happened in my life. The guy could come sit here where you are, we could have a cup of coffee. It didn't come back.
I don't know if I should say the unfortunate thing about your experience with forgiveness was the fact that Bill had passed on, and you didn't actually get to look him in the eye and say, I forgive you. I'm going to put you on the spot now, Carl, by asking if he was alive right now, do you think it would have been so easy?
I think so, because it was the moment. See, it's not about somebody who wronged you, whether they're alive or dead. You are the one that's suffering.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
true.
You have this anger that you're carrying, and people who carry unforgiveness, I mean, they kind of enjoy it. It's kind of like I have a badge, I have a reason to be angry, and I'm going to hold on to this. You know, it's like you have something. And I remember I was talking to a gentleman about forgiving America, and he said that if I forgive America, what am I going to do?
Right.
It's like it was a job. I got to continue to keep this. So that's the way people feel about unforgiveness.
Did you at any point in your entire life feel, I mean, here you were, having all this hate for this one man who did something to your dad who was white. Did you ever find that you felt hatred or dislike or any strong word that we can find towards white people on a whole, to a race? Did you feel that way?
Not so much as a race of people. What I found out years later, my anger, I had a lot of anger towards America. Because after I forgave the man, I was still angry. And one day I had to realize, what's going on? Then I had to realize it was not all his fault. This man lived in America where he could kill any black man he wanted, and nothing would happen to him. So America was really, had to take ownership in the murder of my father. America was guilty, because if the man had been sent to prison, arrested, sent to prison, it would have been different. But he could do anything, and he was protected by America because he was a white man.
Right, gotcha.
So then I had to go through the process of forgiving America.
Right. And that is water under the bridge. Have you forgiven America?
I finally, over the last, I went through that process about 6 years ago, when I realized all the things that happened to me. I was kidnapped by the Ku Klux Klan. Nothing happened. Why? Because they lived in America. They could do anything to black people that they wanted to. So America allowed these things to happen. So then about 6 years ago, I had to go through the transition of looking at the real culprit, for my estimation, was America, who did not protect me as a citizen.
Mr. Rea, tell us about your book. We just had an image of the cover on screen a couple seconds ago. Cured, the Power of Forgiveness.
Well, that's kind of from the beginning of my life all the way through. It starts out with my childhood, what it was like growing up on a plantation. I was very sick as a kid. At the age of 4, I contracted polio. I was paralyzed, and that era in my life. It also covers my years when I went to Tuskegee University, immediately after my father was killed, and all the trauma and depression I went through, and it highlights those people who took me in and rebuilt me. It covers that area. Then it covers the area of me being an engineer after graduating from college, changing careers to become a stand-up comedian. And it covers all of that, and it covers the forgiveness part and who I am.
Yeah.
Everything is covered in that book.
Let me just commend you and praise you on the performance last Saturday. It was really an incredible performance. During that time, every time you perform this, how often do you get to perform your show?
Now I back up a minute. When I first started on, I would perform sometime 4, 5, 6 times a month. Mm-hmm. Now I probably perform 6, 7, 8 times a year. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So,
do you still get that pain? I mean, this is probably going to sound like a silly question, but does that pain come back every time you perform?
Not now. Originally it did.
Yeah.
But now I can perform the play without the pain.
Yeah.
Used to be I performed the play, it would put me down in the dumps for a week or so.
Yeah.
And I could perform again. Now I can perform the play 4, 5, 6 times a day. The pain is gone.
It's gone.
Mm-hmm.
All because you forgave him.
All because of forgiveness.
The power of forgiveness.
The power of forgiveness.
Power
and
of
my
forgiveness.
slogan is freedom.
Yeah.
Is on the other side of forgiveness.
Oh, so true. So true. You really are a slave to just to holding on to things. You spoke about that gentleman you spoke with, and he had so much anger, and he just didn't want to let go because he felt like there was something I have to blame. I have to blame someone for something, and this person owes me this, and that kind of thing. But why would you want to put yourself through that when you can live a life that's free of the stresses and all of that? Mm-hmm. The power of forgiveness, I really love it. Can you let folks, our viewers, know where they can connect with you? I think I stumbled onto your Twitter yesterday. Of course, it's good to
I'm on
become
Facebook,
part of
I'm
this.
on
Yes.
Twitter at
Yes.
Carl Rea, Facebook Carl Rea 67. Mm-hmm. My email address is Carl Rea, Carl mm-hmm. at carlreaspeak.com.
Right.
That's my email address. Mm-hmm. And if you just go Google Carl Rea, you Google the power of forgiveness, killing Choctaw. Google Carl Rea.
Yes.
The power of forgiveness.
Yes.
You will find me.
Well, Mr. Rea, it was indeed an honor. Thank you so much for this copy.
Oh, thank you.
I want you to continue spreading the good word, the good news about forgiveness. It really does wonder to a human soul. It really does.
Thanks for having me.
It really does. You're very welcome. And folks, we're going to keep you updated on the documentary. I understand you're working on a documentary.
Correct.
Filming a documentary. So keep me updated on that, and I would love to share the updates with the viewers.
I will do
periodically.
that. Yeah.
Wonderful. Enjoy the rest of Grenada. Thank you so much to Mr. Ventu for making this happen. And special good morning to that special lady. Is that your wife?
That's my wife, Brenda.
Special good morning to you as well. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we return, of course, Natasha B. Harry, representing Colombian Emeralds International Duty Free Caribbean, is in the house. We're talking lots of jewelry and great stuff happening at DFC. We'll be right back.